Hi, welcome back to the Energy Soup of the Week for August 10th through 16th. We're going to start off with the transits for the week, which is part of the Energy Soup that we're all swimming in as a collective, and it'll affect all of us together, but also affect us in our individual lives. And so the big thing on the plate this week is the total solar eclipse at 20 degrees Leo. It's on Wednesday, August 12th, peaking at 10:46 Pacific Daylight Time. A solar eclipse is like a new moon on steroids. New moons are opportunities to set new intentions for the next lunar cycle, and eclipses expand that cycle out to 6 months to a year. This one being on the south node, this eclipse speaks of new beginnings through letting go of old habits, patterns, relationships, and circumstances that impede our growth. Self-centeredness is out. Authenticity by shining our true light for the uplifting of all and benefit of the greater good is in. At the same time, we have a T-square in the cardinal signs with Venus at 5 degrees Libra, opposite Neptune at 4 degrees Aries, and on the opposite, and then square Mars and Ceres at the initiatory 0 degrees Cancer. This opposition asks us to weigh what we honestly value in relationships against the disillusion of delusion, while at the same time activating newfound confidence in clarified, solid pathways to manifest what seemed only a dream into the 3D. The square with Mars and Ceres creates tension to give energy for fresh action from a place of protection and compassion. Energy for building a safe, nurturing home space for the inner processing and growth of ourselves and those that we care for. We also have a grand trine in air. Venus at Libra, 5 degrees, Uranus in Gemini at 5 degrees, and Pluto at 3 degrees Aquarius, temporarily partnered with Juno, reaching back into the anaretic 29th degree of Capricorn. This trine enables flow between the value of art and the beauty we see, the innovation of language, communication, technology, and networking, and the visions of future societal transformation through committed, mature partnerships built with solid foundations. On top of the eclipse transits, we also have the Lion's Gate portal, which we have been in for the last week or so, and peaked out just over this last weekend on the 8th. The Lion's Gate came into our modern awareness through New Age popularity, but goes back into the ancient Egyptians. They honored this yearly occurrence, which coincided with the flooding of the Nile, bringing fertility to the land. The ancient Egyptians revered Sirius, the fixed star, in many ceremonies and rituals. Sirius is the brightest star in the sky, located in the constellation Canis Major. It is also referred to as the dog star. Sirius is the sister star to our sun in a binary dance. The Lion's Gate portal opens as Sirius emerges into Earth's sight after annually being obscured by the sun. It begins when our sun reaches 15 degrees Leo, peaking on the 8th of August and closing on the 12th with the eclipse. In numerology, the Lion's Gate calls to the number 8 as the sign of infinity lying on its side. The date 88 brings in the angel number 88. This angel number signifies approach of great positive change and opportunity in money, health, personal development, and recognition of hard work. It also cautions to persevere in strategic management of resources toward long-term stability. As a farmer, this is the time of year when the bounty of the fields comes in, and we put away our food that's so abundant now for winter time. We chop the wood to be warm towards the winter. It also is a good time for contemplating appreciation around our journey into human consciousness. So as we enjoy the abundance of these long, hot summer days, we navigate the crumbling of the old and daydream the new into the real. It reminds me of a line out of the Fantastic Beasts stories. Isn't it funny how historic days seem so ordinary when you're living them? These times ask us to stay in integrity and keep stepping towards where curiosity leads. Don't worry about exactly where it's going or the details of getting there. Life gives us everything we need. Embrace this Leo energy by shining your true light and uplifting all around you. The smallest drop in the pond can have an enormous effect. We don't always see where our ripple lands. So now for the collective cards portion of our energy soup. And I pulled 3 today, and we've got the Temperance reversed, the King of Swords reversed, and Justice. So with these cards, I see in the middle we've got the King of Swords reversed. I feel like this is the big you-know-who. We probably know who that is in our collective, but that could also be a you-know-who in our lives. It is a big narcissistic energy. It's somebody who is very critical, very stuck in their heads and the way they think that things should be, very critical of everybody else who does not agree with them. And they create a lot of chaos. The Temperance card reversed really refers to not being able to have balance throughout all of the tumult that happens in the world. And I feel like the king's body is turned towards the chaos and but his head is turned towards justice. To me, this is about the king leaning into and has been paying attention and putting all his focus into the chaos that I believe he has created and watching it. And meanwhile, Lady Justice is starting to gain his attention. I feel like another part of the interpretation of these 3 cards is when I wanted to point out also is the sun over the king's head. And this being the time of Leo, which is ruled by the sun. But it's also about, being the star and being out in front of everybody. And this being, because it being a reverse card, of being a very self-centered version of that energy. It's all about me. When I look at the Justice card, I feel that with the sun, it is about the time of Libra, of weighing out the different possibilities and weighing out everything involved to make things fair. And I feel like right now in the time of Leo, at this time of year, we're looking at Lady Justice is seeing the King of Swords and all the chaos associated with him. And it's still to be determined of what is on the other side. And so I feel like we're at this time where it's like we see what's going on, but what's going to be done with this whole situation? So I feel like that's part of where we're at as a collective energy. So this refers to everything we're witnessing in the world, but it also refers to what's going on in your own life. Is there a you-know-who in your life? Are you being a you-know-who in your own life? And so this is the time to examine and weigh out where are we at with all of this, because it's coming out what we're seeing on this side of things. And it will be determined of what's going to be happening on this side of things. So that's the collective part of the reading with the transits and the collective cards. I'm going to be doing the elemental readings from this point on, and everything will be time stamped so that if you want to watch multiple parts of this reading or the different elements, that you'll be able to skip this first part. So you can check that out. And then also, if you are appreciating these videos, please give a like, a subscribe. I'd love to hear how any of these things are hitting for you in your own life. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be able to bring these readings to you. So thank you. On to the next. Okay, earth signs. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So we're going to start off with this 3 gifts reading with the center card represented by the Gilded Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. And the center card refers to the gift of where we are right now in the present. Okay, I gave everything a good little shuffle. Just going to throw out a couple more. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Cups reversed. So this could really talk of this being either yourself or somebody in your world being really sad and just thrown off from being intuitively in tune, emotionally disconnected. And so, you know, this, with what's going on in the world, I think I'm seeing a lot of this, you know, I'm seeing a lot of this in the world. And so I feel like this is just about living with that, and whether you, like I said, whether it's in yourself or you're seeing it around you, this is what's kind of going on. It could be about seeing people that we really look up to and admire that are in a position of authority, that we're seeing them being kind of in an emotional wobble, or us in an emotional wobble. This card is representing the energies of the energy that's coming in, the gift of what's coming in. Energy is, universe is always lining things up in the pipeline based on the energy that we're putting out and bringing into us. And so this one's represented by the Pulp Tarot by Todd Alcott. Love this deck. Throw a couple of shuffles on this one. Okay, for this one we've got the 10 of Cups. Love seeing that coming in. So the 10 of Cups is, you know, it's another emotional card. The cups represent water, which is our emotions and our psychic sensitivities. So it being the 10, this is the end of the cycle. This is about all those emotional journeys and lessons that we've learned, culminating in the happily ever after card. And so if it was upside down, it would be about not getting that for ourselves. But this is really a sweet, sweet energy of having that coming towards us. So to me, this is about, don't get too stuck in what's going on now with the personalities that are feeling upset and like I said, in an emotional wobble, whether it's yourself or somebody around you, and know that this is coming in for us. How exciting is that? So I do see the Queen of Cups looking towards what needs to be let go. And actually, excuse me. I feel like she is looking towards, even though she's in her emotional wobble, she's looking towards things evening out and bringing in what she really is going to feel a lot better about. Love that. So the third card is representing the energies that are wanting to flow away. So the gift is for things to be given away to the greater good, to someone else, or to be given to ourselves in the form of forgiving and allowing something to fall away from us without anger, resentment, sadness, judgment, attachment. And so this one is represented by the Rock and Roll Tarot deck by Vicki Verley, the Rock and Roll Prophetess. And we've got the Emperor card. So I feel like this is about not looking to authority to be able to get to that Ten of Cups energy. I think this is going to be really about emotionally relying on building our own emotional muscles to be able to navigate whatever's going on in the world. Life is sometimes not easy, and we're going through a lot right now. And so I think this is about having the understanding that emotionally we cannot rely on the authorities to help us feel better. But it's coming in for us. And so one of the things I love about the tarot is, they're just little pieces of paper with pictures on them. And the tarot is such a gift in being able to lay your cards on the table, so to speak, and be able to have a witness to what is going on and being able to move things around and try that on for size. What does it look like if we turn the Queen of Cups over into the upright and take charge of our own emotions and be able to, I believe that gratitude is one of the best ways of being able to turn whatever feelings that we have of fear, anguish, sadness, despair, when we look at what we do have and falling into gratitude, it makes it easier to be able to get into a better space and not be thrown off by our emotions. And when we look at that, she is very in tune to the energies coming out from the cosmos, from God, whatever you want to call it. And she's able to tune into herself and to everything outside of her. And I feel like she starts being able to look to the authority, but really she's looking at listening to her own guidance, and that she's able to kind of defend what's coming in of this Ten of Cups, happily ever after, of us feeling really good as community and coming through to the end of a cycle, and not count on this guy, not count on authority to get us to that point. And really, we have the collective cards below here, where that authority is being represented by somebody who's not in a good place with themselves or anybody else around. So I'd like to pull another couple of cards, and just as guidance cards. And I believe that I'd like to pull a couple of cards, and one of them is the Beast Mistress Animal Oracle deck from Vicki Verley. And I believe these to be good guidance cards to help navigate all of this. I think that being able to turn the Queen of Cups around is going to be a really great practice that we have, where we have the most control in our own lives really is in the here and now. and it's much harder to control what's out in the world, whereas as being able to look at our own mindset and our own emotional state and being able to discern what works for us and what doesn't is, once that muscle is exercised and recognized, that we're able to do that for ourselves. And so with the animal oracle, let's see what they have to say. We have the grasshopper. The grasshopper says, health, blessings, fertility, the gift of song. Inspired creations reveal your true spirit. Reincarnation, discovering your soul path. Advancement by leaps and bounds. So again, I believe the health, blessings, fertility, and the gift of song, I think that this is really about being able to turn to gratitude, of looking at what do you have? What are the things that you have to be grateful for? And that really reaches into the place of where you're able to turn around the sadness and the despair and the being cut off from intuition into a place of being able to create and bring something new to the table. And the gift of song, I believe, music is a great way to put yourself into a better space. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like things are just getting to be too much, put on your favorite music. Go to a concert where there's a lot of other people that are being joyful about the vibe put off by your music, and allow that to help be a kickstart for that emotional balance. Inspired creations reveal your true spirit. Being able to create something, cook some good food, make some music of your own, go tend your garden, whatever it is that puts you in that place where you can lose track of time and just be in your happy place, no matter what that is. That's going to be a really good place for you to get in tune with that being channeling in what's coming in from the universe, from God, whatever you want to call it, and get out of that emotional funk. Reincarnation, discovering your soul path. Part of what the eclipses do is it lines up with the nodal axis, which is in our own chart what determines where we've been as a soul and where we're wanting to go. And so, when the eclipse happens, that's what is happening for us as humanity, as a collective, is it helps us get into what are we trying to let go as humanity, and what are we trying to steer towards and bring in towards ourselves. You can look in your own chart and see where the North Node and the South Node are in your own chart, and that'll help you get in touch with where you personally are, where you've been, where your comfort zone is, where your skills are, and your experience, and use those to be able to get to where you are wanting to, what you're trying to accomplish in this life. Advancement by leaps and bounds. And this, I really feel like, the astrology and my own feeling of what I see in the world is really talking about how we are in a time of tumult and great change right now. And I feel like we're just on the edge, and we're really in the transition into better things coming. And so it is about not being stuck in only the bad things that you're seeing around, or just the hard things, or just the things that didn't work out and we're having to let go. It is heartbreaking seeing relationships, the culture that we've been living in for all of our whole lives, changing in a way that it's not going to come back the same way. But we also have this great opportunity to make it into what we want, that we are the ones that are here right now to help that happen. So when we get into our good place, we're going to be coming in, and the little things that we do right now all those things are going to add up between all of us and make that new culture and make those new changes. And I find that really, really exciting. Advancement by leaps and bounds. So the other card that I have is Flower Petals by Sherilyn Darcy. And these are just really sweet little cards that they're really fun to shuffle. They're just a little teeny deck. And these are just little guidances from the flowers. And we have the dahlias. The dahlias are blooming right now. We have some in our yard. I just love the dahlias. You have what it takes. And so one of the things about dahlias is, you know, they grow from a tuber, kind of like a potato. And so they grow during the summer. They bloom during the warmth of the sun. During this time, they start kind of in July and go in till the fall and when it gets too cold. But while they're doing all that blooming and all that growing, they're also putting all this energy from the sun back into their tuber, which is storing energy for the winter. So I feel like this is a great time, you know, and the astrology really talks about that of making sure that while we're doing the process, while we're doing the letting go, while we're bringing in the next thing, that we are also paying attention to what's going on with our resources. We don't want to use all of our resources for all this letting go and all of this accepting in. We want to make sure that we have resources stashed away so that when things are leaner, that we're not going to be stuck on empty. Whether this means out in the world as far as, you know, building a pantry, having extra gas, having extra money. It also has to do with making sure that you're building your health, of putting the time and the energy into taking care of your body, of making sure you get enough rest so that you're not on that outside emotional edge of not being able to take on the stresses and not just the stresses, but having the energy to make the positive changes, of being able to go out and play and doing all that stuff. So making sure that you're taking care of all that stuff. I feel like that's a big lesson from the Dahlia. Well, I hope that is in some way helpful to you, and please let me know if any of this touches in on anything in your world. Would love to hear comments, and let's talk. I look at all the comments. Anyway, I hope you have a really great rest of your week. I will see you all on the flip side of the eclipse, and we'll see you then. Have a really good ride. Bye. Wow.